This video is sponsored by 2K Games. When it comes to choosing your leader in Civilization 7, the civ that you pair them with is an absolute game changer. Sure, you can see their unique bonuses on the civ selection screen, but did you know there are hidden bonuses you can't see? These secret bonuses can impact your strategy and dramatically influence the outcome of your game. In this video, we'll uncover every single hidden civ bonus in Civilization 7 and explain why they are so powerful. My name is Drongo, this is Civ 7, and join me as we take one more turn. In this video, we'll be playing as Xerxes the Achaemenid. He's a leader that prospers with trade, getting 2 unique leader bonuses for it, and we want to turn him into an absolute trade god. The only problem is, we don't have all the information in front of us. We're missing the hidden bonuses. Let me show you what I'm talking about. To access these hidden bonuses that you can't see before the game starts, you'll need to take your founder and founder settlement. From here, you'll need to accrue enough culture to actually research the first civic, which is called Chiefdom. Here we're playing on the online speed, so it only takes us 5 turns. If we click on the civic now, you'll see that if we go into the civic tree, there's nothing here, it's hidden. However, when we research Chiefdom, that's going to allow us to access the unique civilization civics. And it's a whole new world for this civ. Now, it's at this point that I want to stress, when I'm calling these bonuses hidden, it's specifically in relation to the main menu. There's no secret cheat code that you need to type in to get access to these bonuses. It's just that there's no way to actually see them before picking your civ, and to me, that feels a bit rough because some of these bonuses are absolutely huge. Now, our mission today is to find the best possible synergy for Xerxes, and if the civ we're looking at doesn't seem like a good match, we'll do our best to find a suitable specimen to lead them to greatness. So once again, taking a look at Xerxes the Achaemenid and his specific bonuses, we see he gets 1 trade route limit with all other leaders, and he gets culture and gold per age when you create that trade route. So naturally, you'd be looking to come and pick civilizations that synergize with that. Let's take a look at our first civilization that's recommended for him, and that's Persia. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be looking through every single civilization today, and that means if Xerxes is not a suitable leader for that civilization, we'll throw out some recommendations for leaders that you might want to try and match up their bonuses with the civilization that we're looking at. So starting with Persia, let's take a look at the bonuses that they've got. If we go into the Persian civics, you'll see that they've got 3 separate researches that you can do, or civics that you can do. You start off with Sparta, which gives you -1 maintenance for units and 50% production towards training infantry, which is pretty big. Next up, satrapies. So you get access to the unique Persian improvement. You also unlock Gate of All Nations. Now keep in mind, Gate of All Nations is already unlocked quite early in this mastery down here, but it's, you know, it's basically it's another one that you could look to play into, and then you get +3 gold for every town. You've got a mastery here, which you can research separately, where it's your unique bonus. So the Paradisa gains 1 happiness from quarters, and you get an extra settlement limit. And then finally, the Achaemenid Empire, which gives you +5 gold for every civilization you've captured a settlement from. You get +1 settlement limit here and 3 combat strength for units in enemy territory. Now, keep in mind, we want to play around that style of trade. We get big bonuses to trade. We really don't get a lot of bonuses towards, realistically, any kind of warmongering here. So I don't see this as being quite synergetic. I do see synergy with Napoleon. Let's take a look at what his bonuses are. So the leader abilities for Napoleon the Revolutionary synergize incredibly well with Persia, getting an extra +1 movement for all land units, and you get culture every time you defeat an enemy unit. So now, not only do I have +1 movement for my land units, I've also got an Immortal, which is a unique unit that heals, and I'm getting extra culture every time I use it. I'm also getting an extra +3 combat strength whenever I'm attacking. And then on top of that, I'm also combining that with the civics that I've got that are unique to my civilization. So I'm paying less for the infantry that I've got. I'm also getting a higher settlement limit for when I take the enemy positions. If we take a look here, nothing really in here, maybe a little bit of extra gold. Maybe here we go again. So, you know, that warmongering bonus, we're gathering more gold. And then, of course, we get +3 combat strength for units in enemy territory. So, to me, I see this as a really good synergy. Now, other options that we've got are actually Xerxes King of Kings, not the Achaemenid, and Trung Trak. So I would suggest, if you're interested in playing as Persia, maybe check out Trung Trak, maybe check out Xerxes, King of Kings, because these two leaders have also got great synergy with Persia. Now let's move on to the next civilization, Indian Maurya. Indian Maurya is marked as a geographical choice here for Xerxes. One thing to note is there are no bonuses whatsoever to trade here. So let's go in and check the secret text to see exactly what we've got. All right, so we're in playing as Xerxes as Indian Maurya. Let's see if they've got any bonuses towards trade. Maybe we get lucky here. We've got first up Acharya, which gives us access to our 2 unique buildings. We already know about that, but it also gives us +3 science on, or +3 happiness rather, on science buildings. We've also got adjacency healing for the Puribetera, and an extra gold for happiness, or +5 surplus happiness in cities. So far no luck. We've also got +4 happiness on military buildings and an extra 3 combat strength when adjacent to each other. And then finally in Mantri Parishad, we've got 10% of extra yields, an extra settlement, and +1 science and unlocking the Sanchi Stupa. So once again, we don't see any trade bonuses here for Xerxes. However, while he might not seem like the best trader, perhaps you'd be interested in playing Charlemagne with the Mauryan Indians. Take a look at this. He gets double bonuses for Cav. He also absolutely loves happiness. Every time he goes into a celebration, he goes crazy. And if we take a look at the Mauryan civilization bonuses, it is just happiness, 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 happiness. And they get unique Cav as well, which just further leads into this. If we take a look as well at their civic bonuses, we've already been over them, but just once again, happiness. You know, I feel like right now, it's just like we're listening to Pharrell Williams sing about how happy he is to be playing as the Mauryan Indian. But look, if you don't want to play as Charlemagne, I can also suggest Ashoka. And that's both Ashoka, the World Conqueror, and the World Renouncer. I think both of these two leaders have great synergy with the Mauryan Indian, just simply because of the happiness bonuses they get. And remember, when it comes to this civilization, there is so much happiness here, not just in the main screen, but also in those civics that we saw hidden behind the scenes. Now let's move on to our next civilization, Rome. Okay, so taking a look at the bonuses that Rome has got access to, there's nothing obvious that stands out for us here on the main menu. Let's dive into the secret text though and take a look what we've got. Okay, so we're on board as Xerxes the Achaemenid, playing as the leader of the Roman civilization. Let's check out those hidden civics and see what we've got here. So first up, we're just unlocking stuff that we already knew about, but we also get a bonus towards towns. And then down here, we get another bonus towards infantry units. So infantry units grant culture equal to 25% of its production cost. So basically, the more infantry that you make, the better. So this is almost a bit of a warmonger type bonus. We've also got masteries, where the legatus gains the bulwark promotion for free, and we also get +2 gold in the capital for every town you own. So once again, another town synergy that's coming through for Rome. We also have the next level here for the civics, which is an extra settlement limit. We also get a free infantry unit in new settlements that you found. So once again, really pushing that expansion focus, and a wonderful, I love this bonus, +10% food, gold, and culture in towns with a specialization. Really, really nice. And then finally, our last unique civic, we get an extra social policy slot, an extra settlement limit, and +1 production on urban districts in your capital, and of course, unlocking the Colosseum. So once again, Xerxes doesn't come up with any trade bonuses. But if you're thinking, hey, I like the look of the Romans, I want to give them a go, I like what their secret hidden abilities are, then I would recommend you try out Augustus. It will come as no surprise to you guys that Augustus is the #1 recommendation I've got for the Romans. This synergy is absolutely off the chain. +2 production in the cap for every town, can purchase culture buildings in towns, and 50% gold towards purchasing buildings in towns. He loves towns, he loves having that big city, and that's exactly what the Romans excel at. They also get bonuses towards it. It is an absolute powerhouse of synergy. I definitely recommend going for Augustus. If we take a look at the hidden civics, you can see where this synergy really starts to get crazy. We've already been through them, but now just with the whole mindset of Augustus being our go-to, you get that +5 production towards military units in the cap for every town. then you're getting that bonus gold in the cap for every town. Then you're also getting that extra culture for each infantry unit that you create. And on top of that, you're also getting your legatus bonus for free. And keep in mind that you're getting that extra production towards units in the cap. Then you're combining it with the settlement limit. So you're increasing the amount of towns that you've got. You're getting extra infantry in those towns now. And the specialization, it's just like a perfect synergy. You could not ask for a better synergy with the Romans than with Augustus. But if you weren't keen on Augustus, if you were thinking, hey, you know, it's so thematic, I want to go something a little bit more niche, I will recommend trying Xerxes, the King of King, as second place, and third place, I'm going to give it to Ashoka, World Conqueror. Once again, Xerxes has some great synergy with warmongering civilizations. He also gets the bonus settlement limit as well, so you can really take advantage of those extra towns, the extra combat strength for all that infantry that you're going to be having. So he's definitely a strong recommendation for the Romans. On top of that, Ashoka, World Conqueror, is another really powerful one. He's going to be picking up plenty of production throughout this, and remember, he gets bonus combat strength against districts for all the units during a celebration. He's going to be celebrating a lot because of all that happiness. You're going to be pumping out units with all this production. It's just going to work incredibly well together. So that's my third recommendation, but perhaps you're not keen on Rome. Maybe let's talk a little bit about the Greeks. So the primary strength for Greece is that extra influence per turn on the palace. If we take a look at their bonuses, there's nothing really here that offers you a bonus towards trade. So hopefully there's something within that hidden tree that's got us covered. All right, we're in with Xerxes, the leader of the Greek civilization. Let's see if we can find some potential trade bonuses in here. Let's take a look at our first one. So we've got access to the first unique building, and we also get Xenia, which gives us plus 50% influence towards the initiating and progressing the Befriend Independent project. So this is something to do with the independent states that you'll see throughout the game. We've also got Agogi, which is giving you access to Parthenon, as well as Strategoi, which gives you extra army commander experience. So a little bit more of a warmongering angle. If we take a look at the masteries, +2 culture for active endeavors, sanctions, and projects you started or supported. And then for this mastery, hoplites gain +1 combat strength for each city-state you're a suzerain of. And then for Symatia, the final of the civics, +2 culture for each city-state you're a suzerain of, and +1 settlement limit rather. So some nice synergies that we've got already here for city-states. And then our final mastery is going to be Delian League, +30% influence towards initiating endeavors, and +30% influence towards initiating sanctions. So basically what this means is it is a lot cheaper for you based on the influence that you've got to get these endeavors and to get these sanctions. And the more endeavors and sanctions that you've got, then the more culture that you're going to be generating, and you're going to be able to generate that culture even further because you've got more city-states. So basically, it's a big play around culture, it's a big play around influence. And unfortunately, while there's no trade in here, there are still some great options for this civilization. In particular, Benjamin Franklin. So here with Benjamin Franklin, leader of the Greek civilization, the biggest advantage that you have is that you can have 2 endeavors of the same type active at a time. This combines really well with the +3 influence per turn on the palace, as well as the +2 influence if placed on rough terrain for the Parthenon. Combine this with the fact that you get bonuses further to things like initiating endeavors. It allows you throughout the game to have these endeavors constantly going and have double the amount of endeavors, which is incredible because you can have the key here is that you can have 2 endeavors. So we could see that for Benjamin Franklin, that means that you've got access to the science endeavor, and instead of getting +6 science per turn, you're now getting +12 science per turn because you've got access to both of them. So there's some great synergies there for him. But further to that, you're able to utilize the culture that you're getting to really complement the science of your leader. Typically, you're going to not want to focus on one specific thing. You want to be broad, a master of none but a jack of all trades, with a main focus on production generally. And this is exactly what it allows you to do. You're really quite good at absolutely everything with this combo, and I think that it is by far the best combination. If you're looking to play the Greeks, pairing them with the American, pairing them with Mr. Benjamin Franklin, it just makes so much sense to do. But if you're not interested or you're not feeling patriotic, maybe you're not American, then I can recommend second Machiavelli and third Tecumseh. Machiavelli gets a 3 influence bonus per age, which combines really well with the existing +3 that you get from Greece. On top of that, you've got a lot of bonuses towards diplomatic stuff, and the synergy here is really nice. Tecumseh's also got some great bonuses for being a city-state suzerain, and you can utilize the extra influence that you get from Greece to combo very effectively with Tecumseh and his bonuses. Now, Tecumseh's recommended civs are the Mississipians, but unfortunately for Xerxes, it's not recommended for him. However, there's one thing to note for Xerxes. There is a unique merchant that the Mississipians have got access to. So let's dive in, let's check what their hidden civics are, and whether we can actually get some good synergies going here. Okay, so we're on board with Xerxes, leader of the Mississippian civilization. He's obviously got some big bonuses to trade, and the Mississippians have got access to a unique merchant that gives you gold for every resource that you acquire when you create a trade route. So the way that works is quite simple. If I've got a town here and it's got three resources that are connected to it, I bring a merchant over here, and keep in mind this is for the sake of this argument, this is an opponent or an enemy or another leader's town, and then I'm going to use my merchant and it's going to secure these 3 resources, and by using that unique merchant, I'm going to have 75 gold that comes into my pocket. But is there anything that's in the hidden bonuses that give us an extra bonus for trade? Let's take a look at Earthworks. We get access to the unique improvement, but that doesn't really give us a bonus for trade. We've also got plus 10% bonus production towards buildings. If we take a look at the mastery, we get +1 settlement limit, as well as all buildings receiving a +1 gold adjacency for resources, as well as access to Monk's Mound, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We've also got our Wahir, which gives us burning arrows can pillage within 2 tiles for 1 movement point, and +4 combat strength for ranged units when defending. So still nothing yet. And then we've got Karnaha, which gives us 2 resource capacity in the capital, and oh, look at this, +1 gold and happiness for every imported resource. So heading back to this example, that's 1, 2, 3 resources that we're getting, just that I can see here on our screen, right? So that'd be 3 gold and 3 happiness. So there's a little bit of synergy that started to build here. Now, on top of that, you also get access to Monk's Mound, which if we take a look at where this tech actually comes through, where this civic comes through, it's all the way up here. And let me tell you right now, the deity AI always beats me to this wonder. I've never gotten this wonder. It is absolutely impossible. They love to rush it. So the fact that it's this early means that you pretty much guarantee it. And keep in mind that you only have access to a specific amount of resource slots, and so that's going to really buff you up. So I think if you wanted to play a trade game, Xerxes would be a great option for you here with the Mississipians. However, maybe you're thinking a little bit differently. Maybe you're thinking, I want to take advantage of those unique burning arrows. I want to try and really get those bad boys working, in which case, may I recommend to you Trung Track. So we already saw how many hidden bonuses there were for the burning arrow, but keep in mind they get increased bombard strength, as well as applying the burning status to tiles for 2 turns, which is kind of wild. We combine that with Trung Track. She has access to an army commander with 3 free levels, which means that you can really take it to the next level with this leader. My third place recommendation is Ashoka World Conqueror, who can also take advantage of the burning arrow, but it's for a bit of a different reason. With +1 food adjacency for resources, your food is going to be looked after. You can combine that food with the production that you've got, as well as that extra bonus damage during celebrations against districts, and you can have an absolutely brutal timing attack, I'm confident. Next up, we've got the Maya, an interesting civilization that combines science as well as happiness. Let's take a look at their hidden bonuses and see whether they've got any civics that might potentially favor Xerxes today, and if not, who may they favor? All right, we're on board Xerxes, leader of the Maya civilization. We're looking for those trade bonuses, but it doesn't look like Maya's got any obvious ones up front. Let's take a look at the hidden bonuses and see what they've got. So their first bonus gives them access to the unique building that they've got. We also see that they gain stealth in vegetated terrain with their 2 unique units. These are their unique archer as well as their unique scout. Also, All units gain the poison ability, plus 3 combat strength against wounded units, which is very handy. We also have the next one, which gives you the second building. We get the altar, giving +1 science adjacency from vegetated terrain, and +1 science on vegetated terrain in cities. So a lot of vegetated terrain bonuses, you can see them building up quickly. Then we've got Calendar Round, which is after researching a tech, you gain culture equal to 10% of its cost, and after studying a civic, you gain 10% of science equal to 10% of its cost. So a nice little bonus here, basically 10% across the board for both culture and science. And then our final mastery, +1 settlement limit, as well as +2 science on happiness buildings, +2 culture on happiness buildings, and you get early access to the Mundo Perdido, which is already quite an early wonder. So unfortunately, no trade bonuses here, but there are some incredible bonuses here to vegetated terrain. So instead of going for Xerxes, I would be looking more towards somebody like Trung Track. I know she's already been mentioned so many times in this video, and that's because she's an incredibly aggressive leader. But the reason I'm suggesting her here is because of her vegetated bonus starting bias. So essentially what that means is that she gravitates towards regions of the map that have got vegetation, and often that is going to be your tropical environments, and that's really where a lot of these bonuses excel, especially when we take a look at her leader bonuses where she gets +10 science in cities in tropical. It's just a huge combination for her. So vegetation really is our primary synergy here, and you can see just even with this spawn how much vegetation we've got around here. So when you combine that with these Mayan civics, we've got access to all of these bonus vegetation civics, extra science adjacency from vegetated terrain, extra science on the vegetated terrain, and then we've also got, where is it? It's up here somewhere. We've got the Mundo Perdido. So there is a lot of bonuses towards that, and I think that this synergy just works incredibly well with Trung Track. So I'd give that a recommendation, but if you're not feeling Trung Track, can I also suggest Ashoka, World Renouncer, for his happiness buildings, and Charlemagne, also for his happiness bonuses. So with Ashoka World Renouncer, you get this guaranteed +3 happiness, which is really big for each of your cities. And when you combine that with his bonus for extra food in these cities for happiness, they can grow quite large, and this really starts to stack up a lot of your science. Your third place option is Charlemagne, who again gets a happiness bonus. He loves celebrations, and of course the Mayans are a civilization that do quite well in that regard. Let's move on to our next civilization, the Han. Alright, so Xerxes with the Han, they're a diplomatic scientific civilization. We don't see any bonuses whatsoever to trade here, but maybe if we're lucky, we'll have some in the hidden bonuses. We are on the hunt here. So we're riding on board with Xerxes, leader of the Han civilization. Let's take a look at these hidden civics and see whether we can spot anything we like. We unlock the Great Wall, we already knew about that, but we also gain +1 science adjacency for quarters and get settlement limit, so nothing in there just yet. With Li, we get access to 2 influence on the palace, 1 influence on science buildings, and with Yu, we get access to the Jugunu, getting 5 combat strength when defending, and +1 influence on happiness building. So I'm already noticing a theme here. We've got lots and lots of influence coming in from these two. And then finally with Zhongshu, we've got +10% science in the capital, +1 science from specialists, and the access to the Wei Yang Palace, which gives us +6 influence. So you'll notice here there's nothing for trade, but there is an awful lot for influence. It's one of the other big influence civilizations in Civ 7. We couldn't match up Xerxes, but perhaps we'd be able to match this incredibly well with Napoleon Emperor. On the surface, there doesn't appear to be any bonuses to Napoleon here with the Han. Let me show you what those bonuses actually are. You gain a unique sanction called Continental System that reduces the trade route limit of the targeted leader to all other leaders by 1. It causes a massive relationship penalty, and it costs more to reject. But for every leader that you're unfriendly or hostile with, you get 8 gold, which means that you want to be getting as much influence as you can and then turning that into just being an absolute arrogant bleep. Let's just put it that way. So while there might not be any bonuses here, the hidden bonuses definitely indicate that Napoleon is an absolutely amazing choice in this situation. Second place for the Han has to be Benjamin Franklin. The fact that you get so much hidden influence from this civilization just really synergizes quite well with his 2 Endeavor bonus. For the third place, it's got to be Tecumseh. Tecumseh, the more suzerain states you've got, or rather the more city-states you're suzerain of, then that means the more combat strength, the more food, the more production. It's a beautiful synergy, and I think he'll do very well here. Let's move on to our next civilization, the Khmer. We are Xerxes, leader of the Khmer. We're looking for those trade bonuses, and we found one with Vaisha, which gives us a unique Khmer merchant. It's immune to flood damage, ignores movement penalties from wet terrain. Let's dive into those secret techs and see if we can't find something that we like here. Musong, it gives us our unique improvement that we already knew about it. Also makes us immune to floods on our improvements, buildings, and districts, and gives us 4 combat strength for units on floodplains, which is quite nice. We've got +1 movement for the Yuthahathi, which is our unique cavalry unit, and +1 gold from specialists, as well as another specialist-focused wonder, which is going to be Angkor Wat. So we take a look, it's all the way up here in philosophy, so very far away. A really nice early timing here on Amnak. And then Chakravarti, if we take a look, it's got +50% growth in the capital, -5 happiness in every other city, and Kabumera, which is +100% food and happiness towards maintaining specialists. Our last mastery, it's going to just simply give us 3 codex slots in the palace. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of bonuses in here for trade, only that one single bonus, but perhaps you're wanting to play the Khmer, an incredibly strong civilization, probably the strongest civ, to be honest. If you want to play them, I would recommend Confucius as the #1 leader you want to try and pair with this civ. So Confucius has got +25% growth rate in cities, as well as +2 science from specialists. This doesn't appear to combine that well with what you see on the surface, but when you take that behind the scenes, if we look at the civics, it's actually insane how much synergy that there is here. Not only do you get the bonus gold from specialists, you get a second specialist slot early on with Angkor Wat, and pretty much guarantee that you get this wonder as well. Chakravarti stacks incredibly well, giving you up to 75% growth in the capital, as well as Canberra, which means your specialists that have got science are now just cheaper for you to maintain. You've then got codex slots, which stack well with your science because you're unlocking more codex because you've got more science from your more specialists. It's just a snowball that keeps on rolling down the hill. And on top of that, another little bonus that, well, we haven't really talked about yet, and it's the thing that makes the Khmer the strongest civ in the game, in my opinion, and it is that districts on rivers do not remove the natural yield of the tile. These get absolutely wild because it gives you free citizens, and that's what's kind of crazy. This granary, it's literally just +3 food that I can put over here, and that will continue to grow. That tile will continue to grow throughout the game as I get more techs. It's incredible, and the synergy that you get with Confucius is absolutely insane. And perhaps you're thinking, all right, well, Confucius isn't really my jam. Who else do you recommend, Drongo? Well, I've got 2 other leaders for you. Our second leader recommendation is Pachacuti. Again, he's got bonuses towards specialists, which combine really well with the Han Chinese. Our third place recommendation is going to be Catherine. It's our first recommendation for her as well, and she combines the Codex incredibly well with the Khmer. Especially that last tech that you get access to, that last unique civic that you get access to, it works really well with her. So I'd recommend these 3 leaders to go with the Khmer. Now, we've talked about the Khmer, let's talk about the Egyptians. What bonuses have they got? We are now Xerxes, leader of the Egyptian civilization. We're looking for those trade bonuses, but the thing about Egypt is their bonuses are very specific. They get bonuses to navigable rivers as well as wonders. There's nothing in here, unfortunately, for trade, at least not yet. And I can tell you right now that when it comes to their civics, there's nothing in here for trade either. Let's take a look and see what they've got. Minor rivers do not end unit movement, as well as +1 food on navigable rivers. They also get access to the Mortuary Temple. We take a look at the Scales of Anubis, which give you access to the Master Bar, but your Medjay generate +1 gold when stationed in a settlement you own, as well as 15% production towards constructing wonders. So once again, it's that whole wonder theme. If we take a look at our Civ bonuses, we already get access to +1 navigable rivers, so we're stacking that on top of each other. And our Medjay is our unique infantry unit, so we want to try and station those inside our cities. Let's take a look at Light of Amun-Ra, which gives us +5 gold on the palace, which is the unique building that goes in your city. This one right here, it only goes in the capital. Everything else doesn't have a palace. They've got a different building. It's not a palace though. +1 settlement limit, +1 culture on navigable tiles, navigable rivers, as well as +1 golden production on minor and navigable river tiles in this settlement. So there's really a whole theme with the Egyptians around wonders together with navigable rivers. And you know, I would expect that you're going to be looking to get the pyramids a lot as the Egyptians. You're going to be looking to get +1 gold, +1 production, as well as +1 culture from here. And then we're going to look to combine it with this bad boy right here, +1 food on navigable rivers. And we're just going to try and look to build as many wonders. So there's really a big focus on these two factors. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of synergy for this civilization with anybody other than, well, you guessed it, Hatshepsut. So when it comes to Egypt, we've talked about the navigable rivers. We've talked about the wonders. And looking at Hatshepsut, she's got bonuses towards imported resources, so trade, as well as 15% production towards constructing buildings and wonders in cities adjacent to navigable rivers. So you make a city adjacent to a navigable river, it's going to give you a 15% production bonus towards those buildings and those wonders, which is absolutely huge. I can't think of a better synergy with Egypt than Hatshepsut. However, if you did want to maybe look to play something a little bit different, I could recommend Amina, and the main reason why is because there's a desert bias associated with Amina and with both Egypt, so you can kind of double down on that, and it guarantees that you get the combat strength from that. Further, you could look to play Ibn Battuta, so he gets a +2 or starts with 2 wildcard attribute points after the first civic in every age, and there's a really cool strategy that you can do with him that looks to play into wonders. We've already talked about the bonuses that you get towards production as the Egyptians, the bonuses on navigable rivers as well as towards the pyramid, and you compare this quite nicely with your unique civic that gives you further bonuses towards constructing wonders. But with Ibn Battuta, what you can do is you can take his starting 2 wildcard points that he gets, and you can put those straight into your cultural tree, which allows you to go down to +10% production towards constructing wonders. So now I've got 10% from here. I can look to try and get 25%, or rather 15% from here, so I'm up to 25% now. I can also get my first Pantheon, which will give me a further bonus, and then if I'm looking to create, say, the pyramids as an example, I'm getting an extra 30% from that. So it's a huge stacking bonus that you can build, and I think he's a suitable leader for this civilization as well. All right, well, we are at our final civilization, ladies and gentlemen, Xerxes, leader of the Aksumite civilization. Will this be the civilization that turns Xerxes into a trade god, or is it not gonna happen? Let's find out. So we get +2 gold on resources. That's just all resources that you see around your starting area, as well as any other areas that you see. We get 30% production towards the Great Stele. Nothing too crazy yet, but we do get access to the Tanqua, an Aksum unique trade ship that cannot be pillaged and gets 10 trade route range. This is absolutely insane. +10 trade route range. The amount of different cities and towns that this opens you up to is incredible. Like, the difference between the normal one and this one is just so much extra. So that's the first thing. Let's take a look at some of these unique hidden civics. Do we have something? Ladies and gentlemen, what have we got to start us off with? We've got +1 resource capacity in settlements on coast and navigable rivers. Okay, not bad, because remember, you've got a base of 4, so if we take a look at our resource allocation, once we get that, that should go up. Okay, that's good. We're building here. We're building. And we take a look at the mastery. +1 gold on quarters adjacent to coast. Okay, bit of a coast one. +2 culture and gold for every active trade route. Boom, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Port of Nations. That is what is going to turn this leader, Xerxes, into an absolute trade god. +2 culture and gold for every active trade route. That's insane. Not to mention the fact that we've got the unique trader that just goes so much further. We'll talk more about how we can make this trade go off the hook, but there's nothing else really in here. I'll show you through the rest of these just for your own visibility and your own curiosity. We can see that he's got access to a couple more coastal things, but this is really what will take Xerxes to the next level. I can't recommend a better civ. If you want to trade with Xerxes, then Aksum. This is absolutely incredible, just the amount of synergies that you get here. Keep in mind, he gets an extra trade route limit with all other leaders. He gets that extra culture, that extra gold whenever you create a trade route. So this is absolutely it. It's a gold and culture focused strategy. Let's talk about some of the other ways that you could potentially improve this. So one of the ways that you could really take this strategy to the next level is through mementos. Let's take a look at some of the mementos that I would suggest that you pick with Xerxes. So if we look at Xerxes, you'll see that he has the ability to unlock different mementos, and one of them is this one down here. I don't think that's as good as even this one at the top here. +2 culture per age for every active trade route, which is incredible. Stacks already with the existing bonuses. He does get interesting bonuses like this one here, +1 trade route limit with all other leaders, but one of the things that you'll find is this is quite easy to overcome trade route limits, so that's not going to be an issue. What will be an issue for you though is if we take a look at our foundation level, we scroll all the way down, I think it's about level 18 or 19. Let's have a look and see if we can spot it. Level 19, +5 range for all trade routes. This is a really big one, and it guarantees that Xerxes is going to be able to extend not just 5, not just 10, but 15 tiles further than pretty much every other civilization or leader that's looking to try and get involved in the trade game. So that's my recommendation. If you're looking to play a trade-based civ, go check them out. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this video. This was my attempt to go through all of these leader bonuses and try and give it a little bit of narrative for you. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please, as always, if you've got any feedback, positive or negative, leave it down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. And of course, if you're looking forward to more Civilization 7 content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, because remember, there's always time for one more turn.